In the story, I talk about Under Armour, and I think that we definitely, not we, I can't say the board or anybody else, but I definitely looked at it. I thought it could have been an amazing thing at one time to put the female part of Lululemon together with the masculine part of Under Armour, and at that time we were looking at Nike, and I wanted to overtake Nike, and I thought that was pretty astute move at the time.
In terms of management, you've been critical of management there. How do you think about it now, especially given the fact the stock's up 80%, we've seen a rebound?
Well, in context to what though? This is what I always hear, it's up 80%, but Lululemon had 5 years of quite appalling results. And so when you have 80% on top of the number 1, I'd rather have 20% on top of the number 5. So it's all how you put it in context.
Well, I'll put something in context for you. Lululemon's got a $19 billion market value. Under Armour's is $8 billion. So's Limited Brands. I mean, that sounds like success to me.
Oh, it's undoubtedly success, but only in comparison to what you're, in the limited amount of context you're putting it in. I think that Lululemon has such incredible possibility, especially if it's just lost a lot of institutional knowledge over the last 6 or 7 years, and if it can get that back and bring back transformational development of its people, which was really the focus of the company, and really start to understand again what innovation is and what brand is, then I think it's got another $10 billion to gain quite soon.
Would it have to pivot in any way to get that, or can it do what it's been doing?
Well, I think it has to pivot from the context that it has of being very metric driven. The thing about people development, brand, and innovation is that there's no metrics for it other than a long-term stock price. So if you look over the last 6 years, really, again, Lululemon's done nothing for 5 years, and then only in the last year has it done something. And and that a lot of that has to do with consumer spending, stock buyback. The Trump, I think corporate taxes have been phenomenal, and I think just generally that technical apparel is still in the middle of a 100-year cycle.
You don't seem to want to give any kudos to the current management team, I guess. I mean, some would say that the increase in value over the last year and a half was recognized by the market in that time, but was really the result of years of planning of the very things you're talking about.
Well, I think what happened is you got into this 5-year funk, so halfway through it, I sold half my shares to Advent, which was a private equity firm, to bring them in because we had to shake up the board. Because you can't change the CEO without shaking up the board. So the board got changed up, the CEO is gone, we have a brand new CEO. I'm exceedingly happy that he's an athlete, but Lululemon is missing, the West Coast culture, and it's missing someone who really understands technical apparel, and there's nobody on the board or the CEO that has that. I think that the management underneath is phenomenal, and I think that it just needs to leverage that.
You use the term technical apparel. You don't like the term athleisure. Is that true?
No, I think it's totally lame.
Why? What does it mean to you?
You're like the founding father of it.
No, I mean, athleisure came about 30 years after. I think the New York media kind of put that on it because 30 years they'd missed the whole trend. So they kind of the fashion media put that word on it. But if you're out on the West Coast with Nike or Lululemon and the technical companies out there, that's the last thing in the world that it is leisure. It's, I mean, the whole thing is that we come from function first and then make it look good, where athleisure is looking good and then trying to make it look athletic.